Welcome to the second episode of the day before game day. It's noon, it's Friday. Exactly 24 hours from now, the Penn State Nittany Lions will take on the FIU Panthers in Week 2 matchup. Penn State, one-third of the way done with their out-of-conference schedule. A schedule that, to be quite frankly, is not a difficult schedule. And Penn State, James Franklin, they're fine with that. And they needed it last week because of the new additions to this team. The transfer wide receivers, a trio of them coming in for Penn State and expecting to start and make real contributions day one. We saw two of them, and Trevor Pena and Kyron Hudson have an immediate impact against Nevada. James Franklin in his press conference last week said Devontae Ross looked poised and mature in his role, was not able to get all too much action in the game against Nevada. We'll see what he can do against FIU. But let's touch on those transfer receivers. In Kyron Hudson and Trevor Pena, I spoke to Andy Kotelicki in the media day a couple of weeks ago. He says he's excited about the versatility that this offense could bring. And in that same media day, James Franklin spoke about how last year it was, could you stop Kaytron Allen and Nick Singleton and Tyler Warren? If you could do those two things, the Penn State offense was really shut down. He spoke to, now you're going to have to stop Kaytron Allen and Singleton still, Dinkins and Luke Reynolds at the tight end position, but now the addition of a vertical threat at receiver. We saw that in full effect against Nevada. We saw Trevor Pena catch a ton of balls. We saw Kyron Hudson get into the end zone. It was a complete performance from those receivers. And I think Penn State made that an effort in their game against Nevada, that we understand that in the third, fourth quarters, the game script is going to go away from what we're trying to do. They have the running game down, even though they didn't look too great against Nevada. We understand that this 1-2 punch in the backfield might just be the best in the country. Nick Singleton's up there with the best running backs in the country. Him, Jeremiah Love, among others, in terms of the best backs in the country. We understand their running game is going to be strong. But what they had to work on is the chemistry at receiver. And I think you're going to continue to see that against FIU. I expect Aller and Penn State to come out continuing to pass the football early in the game. Drew Aller was as efficient as ever, only had 4 incompletions. Penn State looked dominant throwing the football. That's a new breath of fresh air for this Nittany Lion team. And my biggest takeaway coming into this game and last week is this game is all a dress rehearsal for September the 27th. All right, you're never going to hear a coach and James Franklin talk about a team, blowing whoever it is off as not a real serious challenge. But everybody in the building, everybody on the team, and even the coaching staff, even if they don't say it, they understand that these 3 games that Penn State will be 40-point favorites in all 3 of them, unless Villanova's a smaller spread, which I don't expect. They are all in anticipation for their matchup against Oregon and Dante Moore in a couple of weeks, which has a chance to be a top 5 matchup right now. Oregon's ranked 6, Penn State's ranked 2. Give it a couple of weeks, couple of teams to drop out of the rankings. Very well could be a top 5 matchup. Penn State, I think the keys to this game is they got to learn a little bit more about their offense. I think they have to learn to execute better in the red zone when they've gotten opportunities. We saw King Mack have a really nice return, and James Franklin spoke about how good he's been in the special teams department. Had a really nice return. Penn State was set up in great field position, not able to take advantage. We've seen that on multiple occasions after turnovers. Again, in the Nevada game, Penn State not being able to take advantage. They were able to go 94 yards with Ethan Grumpmeyer and waste off a lot of clock towards the end of the game. But when they've gotten the red zone on occasions, they struggled. Overall, in the game, they were solid in the red zone, but those couple of occasions where they got the ball in the red zone and didn't have to work their way to the red zone, that's where they struggled. For Penn State, I think it's going to be another big win. They did not cover the spread against Nevada. Nevada scored 11 points, Penn State 46. The spread was, I think, 42.5. I believe it's 41.5 for this week. I think Penn State's going to have another big win. I'm going to go 48-7 for the Nittany Lions. Expect to see those transfer receivers to get more and more comfortable into the offense. We'll see if James Franklin and Andy Kotelicki puts more of an emphasis on getting Devontae Ross the football. And I do expect to see Kaytron Allen and Nick Singleton have more Kaytron Allen and Nick Singleton types performances after Singleton just had 19 yards on 8 carries. If we look at the overall landscape of college football and what Penn State's trying to do, they're trying to go win a national championship. They're ranked number 2 right now. Ohio State looks to be the best team in the country. But like I said last week, this is Penn State's best chance to go out there and win a national title. We've seen inexperienced quarterbacks and quarterbacks struggling. If you look at the landscape of college football last weekend, Julian Sayed didn't play all too well for Ohio State. They won the football game. The Arch Manning struggled mightily. who's expected to be, this hot prospect, hot guy coming in, could be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. He struggled. I understand there's a lot of pressure on Arch to do well. And then you look at Garrett Nussmeier, played solid. Cade Klubnik played okay. But Drew Aller and Penn State, they have to feel the most confident that they have gotten off to the best start. Now, I'm not going to jump to conclusions because Klubnik, Nussmeier, Sayin, and Arch Manning, they all played elite defenses, and Aller played against Nevada. But he looked dialed, he looked sharp, and you can't discredit anything when you're playing against a D1 FBS team. Nevada's got ballers all over the place. We'll see what they do in the Mountain West Conference. But Penn State, on an overall landscape, they have to feel a little bit more confident. Not much. They're not going to say, we feel so much more confident we're going to win the national title now after last week. But they're a little bit more confident is what I'm kind of sensing from the Nittany Lions because of the quarterback struggles of some of the top guys. You saw South Carolina, Lenore Sellers. He looked really good. But some of those guys that if Penn State's going to mark on their calendar, hey, we're going to have to beat them to win a national title. We're going to have to beat them to win a national title. A lot of the guys inexperienced at quarterback. My prediction for this one, I think I'm going to go with Penn State 48, FIU 7. We'll have all the live updates, interviews with James Franklin, some select players. It's going to be a great weekend at Happy Valley. First noon kick. Penn State, FIU, tomorrow afternoon.